My name's Tyler Christensen. This is my research partner, Sean Gracer, and we're here on the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, and we come down here 2 months out of the year to band and study birds.
Projects include we run 2 stations at Karoo Wildlife Refuge and Cabo Blanco National Park, where we do Moisey Station banding, which means we are targeting migrant birds that are coming from North America to winter in Central America.
And right here behind us we've got an array of 15 hummingbird feeders, and every week we catch and band a ton of hummingbirds. This place gets crazy hummingbirds, but not right now because the sun's going down, they're all sleeping. So.
Soon the nectar-feeding bats will be utilizing our feeders.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes we catch those whether we want to or not.
Yeah. What's the point of banding birds in the winter?
Well, who doesn't like to touch birds?
Why here? Because they're not there, I guess.
Well, so migratory songbird populations are declining just about everywhere, and this happens to be a spot where they're in really high numbers during the winter, so we get a lot of volume of these migratory birds. So data that we collect down here is contributed to organizations in the United States that monitor the data, analyze the data, and monitor wintering populations of these birds.
Aren't they protected in the U.S. already?
In places, these birds are protected in the U.S., but, you know, this is a cross-continental population here. You need to protect both ends of their range, and you need data in order to know where to protect, so that's what we're trying to do.
So we're filling in the gaps in Central America where a lot of places the habitat is not protected. So if we can identify where the birds are utilizing habitat, we can better facilitate to others where habitat needs to be protected and why.
Do you only catch migratory birds?
No, in addition to catching migratory birds, we catch an awful lot of really cool resident species, and that just makes this even more fun because Sean and I are studying molten plumages in these species, and it's a really interesting thing because that's not an area that's been well studied, especially here in Central America.
Why not?
Mostly, I think, due to the fact that bird banding has not really been established here for that long. It's been an established way to study birds for over 100 years in North America, and it's just kind of getting started down here. Costa Rica just started doing more of a national banding type situation, sort of like the U.S. where they can keep track of all their resident birds. So we also contribute to that. But just the gaps aren't there. Many people have been down here to study birds, especially in molt, so one of the reasons we're here.
So what do you learn when you band a bird and you let it go again? What can you learn from having a banded bird?
Well, being able to once you band a bird, that's like its social security number now. You can identify that bird. If you catch it again, someone else can identify that bird if they catch it again. If and when that happens, you can kind of paint this picture of the bird's life. You know, you're only looking at it through these little keyholes of different observations, but being able to identify one bird over an extended period of time helps you understand the biology of the whole species.
Do you identify them over time?
Well, we've had a lot of recaptures from, you know, we've only been doing this for 3 years. This is our 3rd year. We've had a lot of recaptures from our 1st and 2nd years, and it's confirmed a lot of suspicions that we've had about age-related molt patterns and things like that. But you know, this is going to have to be a long-term project in order for it to really start yielding good data.
So you're saying that a bird banded here will migrate up to North America and come back to exactly the same place?
Yep, we've already caught a few birds. Last year we caught a few birds that have already made that journey, and this year we've already caught a few birds that we banded in our 1st season that made the journey. So they successfully flown back and forth now 3 times. Which is pretty amazing for, you know, a small bird that only weighs a couple of grams. Goes all the way into North America, you know, potentially up into the Northeast where we're from, and comes all the way back down here to a certain location.
Yeah,
it's
to the
quite
same spot.
Same spot, you know, sometimes even the same net.
Yeah, that's right. We banded a prothonotary warbler in our 1st year here, and our 2nd year caught it in the same exact net. And that bird flew somewhere into North America, breeding in some hardwood swamp up there, and flew all the way back here and flew into the exact same net, and that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. What's the most amazing bird, in your opinion, that you've been catching?
Resident or migrant?
Either way.
It's a tough one. We'll have to notice.
I don't know. I think Prothana tail rover is pretty cool, especially for migrants, because of the habitat niche they have down here, which is they really seem to prefer mangrove estuaries. That's where one of our stations are, and it's just loaded with Prothana tail warblers. And it's just kind of amazing to see them and how they fit into the habitat niche down here, and how they utilize things like tea mangrove. And it seems like they do a lot of gleaning of insects in the mangrove swamps. And I mean, I think that's kind of an interesting little niche that's filled in.
I think one bird that we catch down here that's really personally gratifying is the Kentucky warbler, because where we're from in New Jersey, they're endangered. It's an endangered breeder, and you know, the Sourland Mountains are right around the corner from both our houses in New Jersey, and they breed there in small numbers. But then to come down here and get them down here in decent numbers, it's a really cool thing. Very personally gratifying.